Good evening, everyone. My name is Mahlatsi Mushala. I'm the director and founder of Greentech Industries. We are Africa's first fully vertically integrated processing center supplier of proudly South African hemp textiles. As you can see with the pictures at the bottom, we've been able to consolidate the entire value chain from cultivation to processing all the way through to proudly South African textile manufacturing. So, just a background on myself. I come from a geography and environmental science background. I spent roughly 4 years on large wind farm construction projects. Greenwood was founded in 2021 looking to be a hempcrete brick manufacturer, which is an alternative to conventional bricks using eco-friendly material, which is hemp, and also a pothole repair filler product manufacturer. However, I quickly learned that there's very limited local supply of this raw material to specification, and in order to get that capacity or that raw material, you'd have to import it from countries like France and China, which is extremely inefficient and costly. And this is how the hemp industry was born. We knew with the changes in legislation and also as seen with the recent State of the Nation address by President Ramaphosa, not only that, but with the recent import tariffs placed on South Africa, this presented a very valuable opportunity to address the processing bottlenecks that will exist, as not only farmers will cultivate, but they will need an offtake partner in order to sell that produce to, and also product manufacturers will need a reliable supplier. We've been involved in small trials in the Western Cape, Northwest, Mpumalanga, and KZN, and also here in Gauteng province. And from 2024 October, we've been able to establish a 1 hectare cultivation proof of concept where we will be able to cultivate the hemp successfully, but also process it to proudly South African textile products. We are one of, if not the first company to produce locally cultivated, locally processed, locally manufactured, proudly South African hemp textiles. So what problem are we looking to address for you? The main problem we're looking to address for you is that in 2024, in South Africa, from January to August 2024, imports rose by 8.6%, totaling approximately 2.42 billion US dollars. This massively impacts local industry, especially a legacy industry such as our textile industry, considering our capacity in our mills. There are over 1,000 hemp permit holding farmers in South Africa, and with the recent drive from presidency to cultivate hemp and look into hemp, farmers have no viable off-takers or training. We are that off-taker and we are the training partner. There's limited purchasing capacity, knowledge and training on how to cultivate the crop, but also how to process it for textile manufacturing. We offer that capacity. South African product manufacturers and South African retailers are looking for proudly South African raw materials and finished products. We are that supplier, and we believe through our value chain there could be over 150 million industry and opportunity that opens up that could be locally substituted at scale. So how does our business model work? We train farmers how to cultivate the crop. We then purchase the crop at a certain price per kilogram and they grow it according to our specification as stipulated in our training. We then process that crop and through our partnership with the local textile mill, they're able to take that fiber to specification and blend it with cotton. And when it's blended, it is then able to be taken through all the way to fabric. This fabric is then sold to specific and various retailers. However, the key value addition of our value chain is that we actually engage directly with the retailer. So as you can see, your TFG, your Mungo, your Hemplab, your Brits, we're able to engage directly with them, find out exactly what fabric specification and or yarn they need, and then we are able to liaise with the textile mill partner in order to make that specification. The key part of all of this is that that is how we are able to know exactly how much we need to cultivate and also how much we need to process or not alternatively not just cultivate, source from locally growing farmers. And this is how we are able to inform our price points while looking and addressing and competing with the price points of the retailers and our local manufacturers. So what are our product offerings? We offer hemp seed for cultivation for trained farmers or farmers that have hemp permits. We offer graded hemp hurd. This is a great raw material. This is the inner woody core of the plant. When processed, it can be used as an animal bedding alternative for the poultry industry, for example. It is highly absorbent and extremely dust free. This is what makes it very viable for poultry, as now the mortality rate is able to drop as an alternative to pine. And speaking of pine and sawdust, this can also work well for composites like your chipboards or other type of composites. Is short and long bars fiber for your plumbing industries, for example, or for your automotive and composite industries. And then your processed hemp fiber for spinning and non-woven textile applications, or your automotive industries. They use this a lot for the acoustic installations. We are actually working with a local retailer that actually manufactures car component panels for Ford and Mercedes and BMW as well. So as you can see right at the bottom, we also offer hemp yarn and hemp fabric that has all been proudly local and manufactured from our farm. So what are our service offerings? We offer hemp cultivation support. So through our training, we also offer ongoing support to ensure you cultivate successfully, training and incubation as advisory, and we also offer off-take to the farmer post-training to make sure that they actually become successful businesses outside of just gaining the knowledge. And we also offer processing and manufacturing services. So if you needed assistance to process your hemp crop to a certain specification, that is something that we can do. And we also offer research, sustainability, and traceability reporting through our data capturing and database management system. As you can see here, this is the main advantage of hemp versus other natural fibers like your cotton. On the left is day 5 of the hemp crop during germination, and on the right is day 50 with the crop sitting at over 3.5 meters tall. At the full 90-day cycle, they can sit at 6 meters tall, and they're extremely thin and durable. And this is how we're able to extract so much raw material from 1 hectare, roughly 12 to 18 tons dry biomass. So as I said, it's a 90-day cycle. For 1 kilogram of cotton fiber, you need 10 to 20,000 liters. For 1 kilogram of hemp, you need roughly 2,000 liters. If you are a cotton farmer in comparison, you could be saving just over 40,000 Rand per hectare just off of irrigation alone. Not to mention that our cultivation is full organic. We don't use any pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizers. All we did was earthworm urine and chicken manure. So what is the value proposition and market opportunity? Globally, hemp is a 118 billion rand market opportunity that's growing over 30% annually. And with one local retailer being the Foschini Group, they imported over 2.5 billion rand worth of apparel in 2023. Even a conservative transition to over 0.5%. This opens up a 12.5 million rand immediate opportunity. And some of the fabrics that you'll see today were actually manufactured in collaboration with the Foschini Group, and we are actively supplying them. And it has been a collaborative effort with them to supply them. And I think one of the key leveraging opportunities of us is that we're able to liaise directly with the textile mill while also being able to control the raw material of the hemp fiber. So what do we mean by locally grown, locally manufactured hemp textiles? This is the opportunity to tell the story of a proudly South African product and value chain that enables the farmer, SMMEs, and the retailer. This is what we mean. As you can see here, this is our local farm in Walkerville, Johannesburg, where we did a 1 hectare cultivation. You can see the crops drying there. And through these crops, we're able to process them into our textile products. As you can see, this is us being able to process it at various levels, the inner woody core, the long bars fibers, and right at the bottom, a cotton-like state hemp fiber, which is blended with cotton in order to make hemp textiles. And locally manufactured is what we use to And this is what we mean by proudly South African textiles. As you can see to the left, that is actually a denim, bull denim fabric, and to the right, That is a shift cloth developed by a local weaving partner. So they are able to make it much softer and lighter and much more appealing to the everyday consumer. So some of our milestones, as we mentioned, we were one of the first companies in South Africa to make a proudly South African hemp yarn and fabric all the way through the entire value chain, everything local. And we've been featured in the May and September edition of the Farmers Weekly, which was the focus on hemp and cannabis and also a focus on fiber. So through these articles, we received a 4-page spread in these articles where we were able to showcase some of the work that we've been able to do over the past year. So in looking at cost comparison and our competitiveness overall, we are actually bang on the money with cotton, even in our current setup without skilled machinery. As you can see, raw cotton sits at around 31.67. Our fiber sits at around 30 Rand 72. And at a yarn level, you're looking at around 90 Rand, whereas our yarn sits around 77 Rand, whereas cotton fabric per meter sits around 140. Ours is currently sitting at around 90 Rand, just under 100 Rand. And this we feel is an extreme market opportunity because not only are you able to get higher yields, but there's lower input cost involved in order to make the fibers, but also the product itself, the final product, is much more competitive than its current main subgroup that is used as a raw material. So who are some of our partners that have committed to us? We have built quite a strong network of partners and stakeholders. These include the Foschini Retail Group, which has a number of brands. We feel they're ideal because they have quite a variety and number of brands under the umbrella, which presents the opportunity to supply various types of textile products, whether for upholstery, whether for clothing, whether for non-wovens. Standerton Mills, we have built quite a strong partnership over the past 2 years. With the Foschini Group, it's been over the past 3 years, where we've been able to now establish and bring it to fruition, where they've been able to successfully process our locally grown fiber into finished proudly South African products. We've also collaborated with the Natural Fiber Hub to refine our fibers. We have the capacity to process to the same level as the Natural Fiber Hub, and through the funding and investment of our project, we'll be looking to basically take them out of the value chain and integrate and do all of the processing in-house. Bricks Non-Woven is a local non-woven manufacturer. They have given us their letters of intent, and we have also received letters of support from the CSIR and the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone. They have also agreed to house our machinery line, which we will looking to secure through this pitch, basically, in order to ensure we can reach scale to supply the market efficiently. We also engage with Cortex Automotive, who are the company, and sampled with them, who we mentioned are manufacturing car components and acoustic insulation for BMW. What is our capacity? In our current setup, we can produce roughly 300 kilograms of fiber per month. This equates roughly 3,000 meters of fabric per month, and we can produce roughly 500 kilograms of fur per month, which is those wood chips that were mentioned. And with investment, we're looking to scale to roughly 1.5 tons per month, which equates to roughly 15,000 meters of fabric by Q2 2026 via machinery and via 15 additional staff. So everything to date has been self-funded through our sales or through our own personal capacity, and we've currently had up to 12 training sessions to date as of the start of this year, because that is when the training program was launched. So part of our capacity and a key exercise of what we do is building an efficient database management system. We can now, through our collaborations with our stakeholders and partners, we can now predict for certain what a certain fabric specification equates to in a hectare. So we can tell you if you need, as it shows there, for example, 459 garments, we can know how many meters of fabric will be required, how much yarn will be required, how much processed fiber will be required, and also how much raw material will need to be cultivated. This is extremely important, especially when setting the benchmarks and also linking them to pricing. We are fully compliant in terms of tax certificates. We are also CSD registered. We are B level 1 contributor. I am the only shareholder on the company as well. Our partners are looking to be incorporated at a later stage. We do have all our import authorization, so we can get access to various seeds from across the globe, not just our local genetics. And our training program should get accredited by November 2025, and we should have our Proudly South African and ECBS certification by December 2025. This is our farmer training. So as you can see here, it's quite an interactive process. Farmers get trained, they get a textile cultivation handbook and a certificate which identifies their membership with a unique number. That will be the proof of training and what we'll be using going forward. And we actually invite the farmers to our farm to see the crop in action and also what our expectations are. So as you can see here, this is actually us at our training center and demonstration farm. So we're actually taking a student through here. Our course is extremely interactive. We actually encourage you guys to pay us a visit too. As you can see, there is a classroom style setup where we are able to present and take the participants through the textile cultivation handbook so that they can understand the step-by-step process and our requirements. As you can see, there's the textile cultivation handbook from start to finish and also an example of the certificate. And this is our ask of our project and as of you, our potential partners. We are looking for a 5 million rand investment, and the use of these funds will be spread across machinery, acquisition, staff training, and working capital. The key reason for the machinery is that it will be able to cut out the process of us having to send raw material to various places. We can centralize our operation and make it more efficient and drive our costs much lower and also make our margins rise much more higher. So in the timeline, we're expecting by quarter two, 2020, sorry, this is meant to be quarter four, 2025. We are expecting to secure investment and finalize machinery deals. And then quarter one, 2026, we're looking to install the machinery and hire and train staff. And then quarter two, sorry, of 2026, we're looking to reach that 1.5 ton capacity per month. And with the expected return being around 20% annually, it's very difficult to evaluate the business due to its niche nature and also it being a sunshine industry, so there are no clear benchmarks. However, we are able to use our existing orders and letters of intent in order to calculate these returns, and this would be an interest that is accruing every year, of course. So some of the risks, there may be funding delays, and we're looking to brush this with existing institutions like the IDC, SIDFA, DTI, who we were already engaged with and are well aware of our project. So where would we like to be with your help? We would like to establish a proudly South African self-sufficient facility where we are able to purchase certain skills much more efficiently to farmers that we can send it directly to our textile department to make our textile products. So we are looking to pilot commercial scale production and ship to over 1.5, even a 5 million families in 2026. We believe this can create an immediate opportunity for plus jobs, spanning through our primary cultivation at our own farm, just to be clear, our own farm, and then also an additional 50 staff in our facility. So this is where the 50 jobs will be coming from, and we believe as a project overall, there is over the potential for 500 jobs to be created nationally. This would span in agriculture, agro-processing, manufacturing, and also retail. So what is the advantage and the impact of our value chain is that for farmers, it's guaranteed market access. For the processor, it's localization and reliable supply. For the manufacturer, cost and import substitution and proudly South African raw materials. And for the retailer, the ability to showcase full traceability and to showcase proudly South African value chain. I'd like to thank you all for your time and attention. It's been a pleasure presenting for you and hopefully look to hear from you guys soon. Thank you and enjoy your evening.